John, very welcome to this conversation. I'm so glad to be talking to you. It's been a while, and it's I think our second collaboration. I have recorded a podcast with you.
So, and I got doing 2 LinkedIn locals with you has been great as well.
Of course, those were in person. I'm talking about the virtual part, right? So yes. And I'm hoping by December things will be different and we'll still be able to do our annual LinkedIn local as well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Hey, and thank you for taking the time to do this and to share expertise with everybody and just having these conversations with other experts out there. I think this is very useful, especially at this time. So thank you, 𝙤𝙤𝙜, for driving it and pushing this forward. And with this initiative, I think it's fantastic.
Well, I couldn't have done it without the experts that I know. I have amazing friends and I can, tap into my network and my circle, which is phenomenal. Thank you so much for being so willing and open to saying yes and making time, because I know how busy you are. So let's get into what do you do. Let people know all the amazing things you do.
Thank you for that. So what do I do? There's a lot. So I'll kind of simplify it into 3 things. I speak, so that's one of the things, and you know that through LinkedIn Local. I also coach, and that's really where I've been spending a lot of my time and growing, pretty much my professional. But the other thing I do is I cycle, and this is something I've been picking up and I've been doing for years. And it's a way of me giving back, and what I typically do is the Ride to Conquer Cancer every year. Unfortunately, this year it's been postponed. I don't know what the date is just yet, but raising and just doing some giving back type work, whether it's donating to charities or writing for charities or even offering free coaching right now is one of the things that I'm also doing.
Well, I was with you when you were doing your Ride for Cancer last time, online, virtually being with you and being you shout outs. I remember you did phenomenally well, and you raised a lot of funds too, which is, that only goes to speak to how amazing you are in being so compassionate and kind. Tell me how the situation at the moment with COVID-19 has impacted you in your personal space, first of all, and then follow it up with what's happening with your professional life.
So personally, and here's the truth, and I know this might sound bad to some people because I know other people are having some very serious hardships right now. But I think I'm in a fortunate space where over the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of work, internal work, a lot of training, taken a lot of courses, had some great teachers and mentors. And right now I'm in a space where I feel very grounded. And I don't want to feel bad for that because, I've done a lot of work to get here. But I'm doing well, I'm at home with my family, and, I've been working remote for the last 4 weeks, and I've been doing a lot of these type of conversations over video and meeting with people, connecting with people. So for me, it's been okay. I'm going a little stir crazy because I want to get out. I want to get out in front of people. I want to share and I want to do talks. But what I've found is there's opportunities in this, right? There's opportunities in terms of being able to find new and creative ways to connect. Just like we're doing today, we're doing a video call, but also to connect with friends and family. And just to give you an example, one of the things we did last week, we were supposed to have a double date with another couple. And instead of going out, because we can't go out right now, we ended up having a 3-hour FaceTime conversation. And we had coffee and we had our drinks, and it was slightly different because we're looking at a screen. But once we got into the conversation and we got into, how everybody's doing and going back and forth, we just forgot and lost track of time. And, 3 hours later, we're like, oh man, it's already 11:30. Maybe it's time to call it a night. But there's things like that we've been doing. So staying connected and just staying, connecting with people visually. And I think this is really important. And today we're lucky, right? The technology exists. We're on Zoom right now, where we can have these video conversations, whether it's through FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, Zoom, WhatsApp. There's so many different free tools.
Whereby Google Hangouts, there's just so many now.
Yeah. So I think it's important to remember to continue having those conversations. And in some cases, I've actually been able to expand who I speak to, because now I can do this whether it's somebody across the city, across the street, but across the world, right? There's nothing that stops me from having this video conversation with somebody. So just reaching out.
You said that. It's really interesting that you said that, because some of the conversations that I'm having are completely from the other part of the globe. So I've had people on the call who are in Australia. I've had people from Singapore. I've had people from UK. I've had people from US and India. So it's a blessing that we have the kind of technology today to be able to reach out and connect. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, especially around this time. And really, I think one of the things that have really helped me stay grounded has really been around, what can I take from this? What can I learn? And what's good about this? And these are two questions that I'm constantly thinking about, is what's good about this, right? There is a lot of stuff that's happening. There's tragedies that are happening as well. There's people out there that are infected and they're getting through this. But what can I specifically, and really that's the only thing that we can do, is what can I learn from this? What can I do? And what's good about this, and really what's been good about this is we have 2-hour dinner conversations now, because nobody's rushing to go out. Nobody's rushing to go anywhere else. Like, we have no choice. We have to stay home together.
Absolutely.
But we've really taken the opportunity to really sit down with family, with kids, and have some really good, deep, meaningful conversations that typically dinner is like 15-20 minutes if you're lucky, and everybody's gone.
Yeah.
But now that we've got this time, and you got 2 hours, we had a 2-hour lunch last Saturday, and on a Saturday it's rare to even see people. So personally, there's been a lot of good stuff, and having a lot of good family time as well. So yeah, and I've been very fortunate that way.
You've been having 2-hour Sunday lunches, and I have been having back-to-back Saturday conversations. I start in the morning, and then I went straight till 7, literally. Wow. Back-to-back interviews, just because weekdays are busy for me. We've been working from home, and in the evening I can do 1 or 2. But I was trying to pack a lot of interviews on the Saturday, especially the first one. Like, okay, we have to get this done. But I'm gonna slow down now. I definitely have to slow down. Moving forward, the Saturdays, I will find the time for the 2-hour. The weather getting better, especially.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's important, and I think you touch on a great point, and this is what people have to remember too, right? And as we're going to transition into the career question or the work question, is making sure that you have those boundaries right now. Because if you are working at home, one of the things that I found, so this is my 4th week working at home. So I went to the UK. And then when I came back from London, I said, I'm going to just kind of isolate myself, even though I don't really need to, but I'm going to do that anyways. And so now that I'm into my 4th week, what I found that first week is, being able to set those boundaries to say, I'm going to cut off my work at this time. I'm going to make sure it's family time at this time, or even taking like a full day. Like tonight, this is my last call for today, right? And then I'm done. And then the rest is going to be, if I want to now watch Netflix, I want to go watch Netflix, right? Like, that's what I'm going to go do. But even setting boundaries around, what's my weekend going to look like? What am I going to be doing? To make sure that to keep the sanity, because I feel like a lot of our routines are broken, right? Where we would commute back and forth to work, that would be an indication of this is when my workday starts and this is where my workday ends. We don't have any of those. They're kind of all blurred together. And especially since we're working in the same space, right? Same space as you live, right? So typically we work in an office, and now your office is your living room, your basement, you're next to your bicycle, you got cabinets next to you, you got all this stuff. And how do you convert this workspace into a home space, right? And it could be something as simple as just closing your laptop, putting it away, and not worrying about that. So yeah, and
that's my signal. That's like when I turn my laptop screen down, that's it.
Yeah,
that's the time people know that I'm like completely home now. And when I'm in this is my work corner, and I when I'm here, then people know. Better not distract her. Because but then I'm so glad that you mentioned the structure piece, because this structure piece, I was hoping you'll be able to elaborate on with how people who are, because there's been happening, a lot of layoffs has been happening.
Yeah.
There's been people who were in the process of a career progression, or for that matter, immigrants who have recently landed. I know a lot of people follow you due to Zero to Hired, who listen to your podcast and have benefited from the book. So how would you say that structure can be applied to the job search and the career piece?
Yeah, and that's a fair question. And so what I've been doing research too, and connecting with, hiring managers, HR professionals, recruiters, and asking them, so what's it like out there? What's really happening?
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback is, it's unfortunate. So some industries, and it's really around industry specific. So for example, if you're in the airline industry, unfortunately right now, there's no work for you.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other flip side of that, there are industries that are picking up and industries that are actually hiring. And I shared a link, I think on Wednesday, on some opportunities that are out there today. So organizations that are looking for developers, they're looking for PMs, they're looking for engineers. There's opportunity, but it takes time and it takes work. And I had a coaching conversation with somebody just even yesterday around, what does your day look like? How are you structuring how you're approaching your day? And I think that's really important, because right now you could look at the fact, hey, I've lost my job, or I have no job, or there doesn't seem like there's any opportunities. But if you do nothing about it, nothing's going to happen for you. It's like the adage of, there's no way to win the lottery unless you play the lottery, right?
Absolutely. So that's such a wonderful analogy. I mean, unless you act,
correct,
things are not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to make sure you set a schedule of what that looks like. So just like, prior to pandemic and prior to COVID, you had a structure in place. You got up every morning, you got dressed, you went through a workflow to either look for work, go to work, or, work on getting a promotion inside your organization. So today that doesn't necessarily need to go away. You need to you got to do your informational sessions. You got to go talk to people. You got to look at postings. You got to apply to jobs. And if you put schedules around that, and this is what I think has worked really effectively for people, if you put schedules around that, then you can progress. Yes, right now we don't know what that's going to look like when this thing's going to be over. But if you stop your job search now, it's not going to help you when things start to pick up. So what recruiters and HR people are telling me is now is the time to prepare, to do the research, to maybe brush up on some skills, take some courses. These are all things that are going to prepare you for when this thing starts to pick up. So, and with having that, it also gives you something to look forward to every day. Because I think one of the challenges is people don't feel productive, because now it's like, okay, I'm not working, I'm not doing anything. How do I get to the end of the day and still feel accomplished? So I'll share a quick strategy with you is for myself, I have 5 things I need to do every day to feel successful. And, 5 things are really simple. I define them. So whatever success means to you is how you define your day to feel successful. But things like learning, like 20 minutes of learning, 20 minutes of exercise, whether it's going for a walk or just doing something outside, making sure you keep your social distance from people. Doing my meditation every day, eating healthier foods throughout the day, those type of things. As long as I do those things every day, I'm going to feel accomplished. I'm going to feel successful. And if you can feel successful every day, you can start growing what you do in terms of feeling successful as well. So now you start to expand and you start to grow, and it's like, you know what? It's Friday. I feel like I've had a good week. Now I can relax for the weekend, right? Or you can do a series of interviews from morning to evening, if that's your choice, right?
No, that was just one-off. One Saturday was like dedicated to all interviews, not all the time.
Yeah, but I think it's really around making sure that you set that up for yourself and you continue to move forward despite what's happening, right? And a lot of it, and if you do that, and actually, I've had a few conversations around this too, help other people, right? And I actually had a conversation with somebody who's a new Canadian who is kind of stuck in the middle of receiving their paperwork and wanting to get a job, but they can't get a job because their paperwork is sitting in some Service Ontario or Service Canada center, and they can't get access to their paperwork to get their work permits to go get a job. So they're like, it's even worse for them, because now it's like, I'm here, I'm burning through all my money and my savings. What do I do? How much longer can I survive based off my savings to get through this? And one of the things that they did is they're volunteering, right? They're volunteering, they're helping, organizations like Meals on Wheels. They're doing some sort of project coordination. And that's also a great way to build out your network while you're waiting, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great things that you can do right now to progress and to move forward and to grow your network right now, because a lot of people are stalled. So if people are stalled, they're not as busy, they can have conversations with you. And 15, 20 minutes over Zoom or WhatsApp or Facebook or FaceTime, whatever that is, you can still have those conversations. I think people right now are even more willing to do that. But you need to initiate those things to make it happen.
Absolutely. Such wonderful points. In fact, I was in conversation with somebody who's going through job search at this point. And last week when I checked, they were applying. But during the week, you know how I'm not hearing back, so maybe nothing is happening. So when I touched base again this morning, I said, what's going on? Like, I heard back from one, but I've not heard back. I said, so who's going to follow up? That was your task. Go on, follow up. And then I got a message today evening saying, I've done my follow up, which was, they are happy. They were feeling a bit more in control and kind of on track with what needs to happen, which is a great feeling to have. To your point, feeling accomplished, having achieved at least one positive step during the day can make a big difference. So how do you feel things around you in terms of people that you know have changed, or what do you see? What is the shift that you've experienced?
So I think we're just shifting in terms of how we do things. So people around me, they have anxieties, they have fears, they have concerns, they're worried. But what I'm feeling and what's been happening because of the connection and reaching out to people, some of those things just start to drop, right? Just knowing that, hey, I can still talk with some people, right? Like just because we're not in the same physical space doesn't mean that we can't be face to face, right? And right now, even though we're over camera, we're face to face, right?
Yeah.
It's different. And I think just allowing people to give them space to have conversations, to express concerns and worry, not necessarily to have the answers, because the truth is, I don't have answers, you don't have answers, but we do know from our own personal experience that sometimes all you need is to have somebody there who's just willing to listen to you. And just having that person to listen and to express and just to share is a great way of just relieving some of that. It's like, you know what? I'm glad I got that off my chest. I can feel better about where I am right now, and just know that this isn't going to be forever, right? And this is, there's a passage that I keep reciting, this too shall pass, right? And at some point,
we will get... this is amazing. Daisy said the same thing. I've had a few people, like Lauren Blue said the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know, but we all need to hear that. So I'm so glad that you said that. So what would you say about when people are making those choices or doing their research? What do you suggest? What would be one key thing that they should look for?
So in terms of research, you're talking about
research
job search?
Job search or research with building the relationships. You were talking about how people can still have those conversations online. How should they approach the research of who they want to connect with?
Yeah, well, you and I both know LinkedIn is an excellent resource for that. I know you're smiling. Like I feel like it was a loaded question.
I wanted you to say it.
Yeah, it's like a loaded question, but you and I know that that's a great resource for professionals out there that are looking to get jobs. Even LinkedIn right now, there's no shortage of job postings inside of LinkedIn, right? So there's tons of jobs there. But it also gives you the opportunity to connect with people inside those organizations, right? But I think the key to that is when you do reach out to people, make sure you have a structure in terms of how you approach them. Number one, don't ask them for jobs, because that's, nobody's going to listen to you. People are going to not even accept your friend request or your connection request, because right now people don't know you. And so now is an opportunity, and I, in the few conversations I've had this week in coaching conversations, it's really been around make sure you have an approach. So the approach should be, talk about why you're interested in connecting with somebody, share what you know about them already, based on what you've read in their profile, and then have a structured approach in terms of the type of questions you want to ask them when you meet them over video, over audio, whatever, whether it's a phone call or a video call. What do you want to talk to them about so they can be prepared? And I think if you can do that, and that won't be off your initial connection request. Your initial connection request will be, hey, Taranam, I saw your profile. We have maybe some common interests, and I'd love to connect with you on this platform. And then the key would be do your follow-ups, share a piece of information, share a resource. And then once you have 2 or 3 out of the way, you can then say, hey, would you be open to having a coffee conversation or a video conversation or a phone conversation with me so I can explore this more? And it's really around you learning about the role, learning about the organization, learning about the culture. And you have the opportunity to do that with a tool like LinkedIn. So let LinkedIn be your key resource for that. And if you're not using that, you're making a mistake. You need to do that. So, and you and I both know that, right?
Absolutely. And I cannot emphasize the importance of LinkedIn enough. I keep saying it, but I wanted it to you to say it, because then again, that's reinforcement. People need to understand the potential that LinkedIn has and how to utilize it. The one thing that I do want to mention here is start with brushing up your profiles, because for somebody to send, even if it's a curated connection request, and their profile does not look up to the mark, or they don't have a picture, or let's say they've not identified what they do, then it's sketchy. It's like, who am I talking to? So sometimes, in fact, more often than not, people will not even accept the request. Yeah. If you're not doing your due diligence with making your mark or your brand identifiable on LinkedIn.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Well, and you and I have a common friend through Shelly, and she says, don't be a default. Don't use the default stuff.
That's right.
Customize, right? Like, and go through. And like you said, now's the time. So now you have time, clean up your profile, put a nice picture in there, indicate from a branding perspective what you're an expert in. And if you can do that, and if you're not at an all-star status today, make sure you cover your 7 points and bring your profile up to all-star, right? So
absolutely. That would be great. That would be ideal. Have you identified any acts of kindness that you have seen around you, either on LinkedIn or in person, that you would want to give shout outs to?
Yeah. So outside of LinkedIn, I also follow people on Instagram. And what I really like right now is, there's a lot of yoga instructors. Not that, I try to do some yoga, but there's a lot of yoga instructors that are offering free classes online. And actually, I've been seeing more and more of that, where people are just offering free classes online, whether it's free coaching, free training. And it's a great opportunity to plug into those things where typically you would have had to pay for them in the past. Today, they're free, right? And these aren't going to be free forever. So take advantage of it while it's still here. But there's one person I want to do a shout out to, and his name is Happy Jack. Jack Boken. He runs an organization called Happy Jack Yoga. And they've been doing daily calls and just opening it up to the community to pop in, to say hello, but also just to share some strategies and tips around what you can do to bring yourself to center. And that's really important right now, because if you can do that, then you can be in a much better place, and the way you're going to react to things are going to be different. And if you're centered and you're grounded, when you approach things, it's going to be like, you know what? Do I really need to go that way? Do I need to overreact? Do I need to get upset? Maybe not. Maybe I'll just focus on where I am today and just be grateful for this. And the other person I want to give a shout out to is John Windisman from Optimistic Brain. He does mindfulness and meditation. And he's been doing some free sessions online as well. And actually, I interviewed him last week on one of my pages. I'm going to be releasing his podcast next week, where he talks about really centering and focusing on what you can do specifically to just bring yourself to a mindful space. And it's not so much around, my meditation isn't around, eliminating all the noise, but it's really around focusing on what's coming in from the inside out. So if you can do that and you can just pay attention to that, you can react to things a little bit differently. So those are two people that have been doing some wonderful work. And there's a lot of great people out there doing some great work as well. Just like yourself doing the interviews. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you. That's kind. Okay, so I'll definitely be mentioning these individuals in the body of the description, and I'm so glad that you mentioned these, because a lot of people can benefit from, you know, taking what they're sharing. At this point, it seems the more happiness, the more kindness that can be spread out there is what is going to make a bigger difference.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. You yourself are a very kind person, John. You're such an amazing friend to have. If there was a magic wand and you could ask for something for yourself, what would be that?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know what I want for myself. You know, I don't know. Like, and I'm going to answer that honestly. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I want for myself. I want this to be over more than anything. You know, if there was, I want things to kind of go back. I don't think things will go back 100% to what they were. I think we're going to live in a slightly different world. But I think if there was one thing, just spread the kindness, right? More than anything. You know, if that's my one wish, you know, be kind to other people. Don't lose your mind over things, over simple things, right? Just be focused on and be grateful for what are some of the things that you do have and the things that are in your life right now. Because I think that's what's really going to help. So yeah, if that's the one thing I could wave my wand and wish for, is just be kind to one another, right?
Oh my God, this is so amazing that even in your personal wish, you're still asking for a wish for others. That shows the actual you, I would say. So it's so amazing. What would be something that you would want to give as a parting gift for people to hang on to, which they can apply tangibly in their lives?
That's another good question. What would I want? Yeah, just remember that I think more than anything, just know that we're going to get through this. And the way we're going to get through this is to get through it together, and by supporting and being there for one another. So that's one thing for sure. You know, be there for the people around you, and pay special attention to those that maybe aren't doing so well, and being extra attentive to them. So maybe it's making extra phone calls, whether it's parents or it's family members or it's friends. Just be there and be a little bit more attentive for them. That's it. Like, just, yeah, be kind and continue to be kind to other people as we go through this. And I think if you can do that, then we're going to get through this, I think, a lot quicker. And listen to the authorities out there. Listen to the government when they say, you know, keep your distance, stay home. The healthcare workers, you know, they're putting themselves at risk every day to take care of us. So the only thing that we can do is take care of ourselves, stay home, be kind. You know, if you can do those things, then you're gonna find yourself, you're gonna be much further ahead than just being concerned about, hey, I'm locked up at home. Well, yeah, no, I've got opportunities and I've got time to do all these things I've never been able to do. So take the time, enjoy yourself, like, have fun with this, right? Because when we get back to business, we're going to be so busy that we're not going to have time to learn how to play harmonica, to do courses online. We won't have any of that stuff. So take this opportunity to really enjoy this moment.
This is great piece of advice, and I completely am with you when you say this is the time to learn and to grow and focus on what can be done and how you will spend your time doing something that's productive. Thank you so much, John. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. It always is, and I hope you continue to spread the smiles and the knowledge and the information at all times. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with your audience and, yeah, just to share a little bit of me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to keep updated with all our videos. Thank you.